Hi, I'm Blair Davis, drummer and woodworker, and this is a djembe that I made, and I'm going to give you a little short course in how I made it. It started with a log just like the one it's sitting on top of, and I'm going to put that log on my fairly giant lathe over here and see if I can make another one of these. First thing I'm going to do is put a 1-inch hole in each end of this thing, about the center. And I can hang it on the lathe so it'll support itself. I think I can get the bark off so it won't be smacking me in the face when I start to turn it. Sure the spikes are in. One end in. Just got to get it down so I can push it right in that hole. And then it'll just hang on those two supports. What I do is it's just being driven by that little tiny dog in the middle, which really isn't enough to drive this. So I put this faceplate on. I'm going to run a few screws in here just to give it some ability to turn. And then I can start truing it up and start rough shaking. Shouldn't take too many of these, it's not really holding anything, it's just helping it drive. Power it up. Reverse. Everything's locked. Always spin it first to be sure it's not going to hit the tool rest. And you can tell from the sound that it's only hitting, it's only turning, cutting on one side because it's not quite round, and as I cut more round, it'll get more in balance. I'm just getting it to round, and then I have to look and see, it's much finer, and this will be the top edge of the drum. That little mark is that's about 14-inch diameter, so I'm going to turn it down just to there. There was a little bit of rot in here, so it looks like I'm going to lose that. And now I can start to work on the shape. This will be the top of the drum, and it'll go down, then it'll curve in. And I've taken about 1 inch off the top, which looks like I've pretty much cleaned up. I don't see any cracks or anything, so it looks like it's a really beautiful piece of wood. But it's certainly a big difference over the crude, where I was just roughing it out with the roughing gouge. The lathe keeps getting shorter too because the floor keeps piling up. It's about a 200-pound log to start, and it's going to be about a 10-pound shell when it's all done and dried, so that makes for about 190 pounds of crap on the floor. And now I'm round. You can see how much smoother it is. Starting to get into the shape, and this particular one I decided I wanted to make a little more goblet shaped, a little more vertical on the sides and then sharp in. I think it'll provide a deeper base, so I'm just kind of experimenting. So now I'm at the point where the top is where it needs to be. This just needs to come down and curve gracefully. This will get smaller, and you can see the white circle on the end. That's about where it's going to be. At the bottom I'm going to kind of flare the bell out, kind of like a horn of a trumpet. Notice too, you get the black hands. This is if you've ever handled walnuts. That stain from the nuts is also in the wood. So as you handle the wood, your hands get progressively blacker. Doesn't take much, just a light touch. Well, I finished the shape of the drum. This is the easy part. Now we've got to turn the inside of it out. So what I've got to do is attach a faceplate here and flip it over. And I've turned as much of this off as I dared, and now I've got to just saw this off by hand and then mount the faceplate. So that's the next phase. That is a steady rest of the huge variety, which is necessary to hold this thing, because there's no way you could just let that little faceplate hold it and put the tool on it here to do all this hollowing. This is actually a custom-made steady rest by a guy. His website is theokspindoctor.com, and he custom makes these for any lathe, so a great guy. And it's indispensable for this. I've still got my tailstock in here just to hold it. I'm going to turn a little bit of this out just with regular tools. Then I'll take this out and start the hollowing, which I'll use this tool for, because you have to hang in there so far. You need a very long tool to get leverage, and this is a hook tool, which we'll show you later. But this is just the setup for the next phase. And I'll turn all the way into the bottom of this bowl with this setup. Then I will flip it over one more time, put this end down here in the steady rest, and then I'll turn into the bell and hopefully meet in the middle. Can't hold that thing on there. It would just start spinning around. As soon as the tool hit it, it would just fly. That's why you can't support something that long, holding it just on the end like that. And now I'm using a hook tool, which I can put in and cut, and this is actually a tool rest used for metal spinning, but I find it's helpful because I can get a little push against the edge. I don't have to hold it so hard, but you'll see how it works. So now it's just a question of doing this for a very long time. Spaghetti coming out. I've got the top hollowed out now, and what I did is I took a piece of plywood and put it on the faceplate and turned it very carefully with a little bit of taper to just exactly the inside diameter, and then I could just press this on, and I'm probably going to put some tape on here just to keep it from shifting. And then I got the wheels running in this little groove, and now I'm going to take the tailstock away and get rid of the faceplate. Take this out. I'm going to put a big auger drill bit in. There it is. A rather fat djembe. Yeah, about 14 3/8. I'm hoping by the time it dries it should be probably 14 or a little under. Just a little under 20. So I'm guessing when it's done it'll probably be 15 or so. Just make a note of what it weighs.